I want to talk about Mariam Abdulrab, 27 years old, from Atlanta, bartender, popular, people love her, so many friends, kidnapped in front of her own home, and then murdered and left on the side of the road. This is absolutely horrific. Horrific case. Think about it. You're home. You're supposed to be safe when you're home, right? I made it home. Here I am. I'm at my home. And someone grabs you, gunpoint, then kills you. This is a tough case. Now, what we're hearing and what we're learning is it's not related to the case involving the other bartender from Atlanta who was murdered while walking her dog in one of the local parks, completely unrelated. In this case, they do have a suspect in custody who has been charged. There he is. DeMarcus Brinkley is his name, charged with kidnapping and murder. Investigators say he kidnapped Mariam at gunpoint as she was returning home. He's also charged with aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and possession of a firearm during a felony. So they've made an arrest. And they have some charges, but still, investigators have to put the case together. And you know that, watching court TV. Many of these murder accusations end up as trials. And you get the trial, you got to prove everything beyond any and all reasonable doubt. So how are they going to put this case together? I think it starts with the boyfriend of the victim who witnessed the abduction and made a 911 call. Take a listen.
Hello, hey, I'm at street and my girlfriend just got out of the car and somebody just came and just kidnapped her and just left.
Did they kidnap her and left?
Somebody just left with my girlfriend.
Where are you located?
Oh my! I'm at. They just left. He was in like a Ford Escort looking type of car.
What kind of car was he in? You said a Ford Escort. What color?
It was like a Jeep car, like a Jeep.
So what? How did was she snatched? Was she?
Bro, she just pulled up and then I heard somebody here earlier. Bro. Oh my God, my car is blocked in. What the? Oh my God. Bro.
Sir?
Bro.
Sir, I need you to stay with me for a second.
Bro, what the?
Can you hear me or you?
Oh my God. Bro, I just watched her get kidnapped from in front of my house. What the? Oh
what is
my.
Your name?
My name is. Oh.
Was she forced into the car? Did she get in the car or did she walk into the car?
Yes, I watched it all. I watched everything. He had a gun to her. I watched everything.
It was a black.
I watched everything.
Hold on.
He had on a security shirt. Oh my.
I need you to listen to me very carefully. I need you to calm down as best you can. And I have a series of questions that I need to ask you. I need you to answer.
Yeah.
Okay? I need you to answer them to the best of your ability. You understand me?
Yeah.
All right. You said that you saw your girlfriend get kidnapped by the driver of a black SUV-style vehicle. Is that correct?
Yes. It looked like a Ford Escape kind of car, like a small SUV. Because she just called me 5 minutes ago, and she said, well, I'm about to be here. And I heard her car pull up.
Hold on.
I hear a commotion outside.
Hold on. Hold on 1 second. So she had a gun pointed to her?
Yes, I watched it all through my window in my front yard. He had a gun to her, and he forced her into a car. He had on a security shirt. What the?
All right. All right. Where are you located? Are you in an apartment complex?
No,
So this is a house.
it's a house.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
So
and I have her location in my phone. I'm gonna check it period. I can check it.
So you're tracking her location from your phone. Is that correct?
I'm loading it up right now. I don't know if she dropped it or not. I think it's in her car. I think she dropped it.
All right. We'll get a unit out there to you shortly, okay?
Now, remember, at this point, he has no idea that she's about to be murdered, but has just witnessed this kidnapping. And imagine the trauma, but he's still thinking, okay, maybe we can track her phone. Maybe we can find her. Well, he doesn't find her. Police don't find her. We'll play the 911 call of the person who did find her in just a second. But first, let's bring in tonight's guest. Joining us in Palm Springs, California, retired FBI Special Agent Bobby Chacon. And in San Antonio, Texas tonight, retired police commander, host of the Profiling Evil podcast, Mike King. Great to have you both. Great to see you both. Bobby, I'll start with you. Here, this case, this investigation, there is a witness, and this witness is coming forward. He's connected to the victim, obviously, but this is incredibly important and I guess is really where you start the investigation into what happened here.
Yeah, sure. And then you back up from the victim, her known associates. Was anybody bothering her at work? She's a bartender. Sometimes they have stalkers in bars. He was wearing a security shirt. Was he a bouncer at one of the bars she worked at? So, yeah, you do start with the witness. The witness in this case gave a lot of information. The description of the car, I was kind of surprised that the dispatcher didn't ask immediately what street the car was on and what direction the car went off in. Because if you want responding units to go out, you have the description of the car. Now you need a direction in the street. And I would have liked to hear the dispatcher get that information out to the units in the field right away.
Yeah, Mike, the other part of this is you can tell the trauma that in witnessing what he's just witnessed, but he's able to recount this information. To me, that's almost amazing. You don't know how you're going to react in a situation like that, what you're going to think about, what you're going to remember, and emotionally how you can translate that information.
Yeah, I mean, some people might be a little bit troubled by the way in which he's doing it and how he might even appear calm. But what he's really doing is processing what's going on. And he clearly is trying to put pieces together and make sense of it. And in this case, this is the kind of case where you have to immediately try to get an assessment on what his personality, the boyfriend's personality, is like to understand if that's normal behavior for him. And then the idea that he knew that the phone was there and he was trying to track it just really lends a lot of credibility to the fact that he's pretty shocked by what's happened.
And Bobby, so many of these cases that we cover, there aren't eyewitnesses to the beginnings of the crime, right? There's just, maybe there's a piece of video, you're trying to figure out what happened here, someone sees it. I'm always, every night I'm talking about this, how surprised I am in how criminals are so brazen, where they'll just, must have been following her, because the way it was described, she's just getting out of her car, all of a sudden there's a gun on her, and she's forced into his vehicle.
That's right. And I think the only reason you do have that witness is she called her boyfriend. She's a bartender. She gets off in the middle of the night. It's late, 3, 4, 5 o'clock a.m. And so there's going to be nobody else up. Even he probably wasn't up until she called him and she said, "I'm on my way. I'm almost home," and things like that. So he woke up and he was, anticipating her arrival home. But in a normal night, or if she hadn't made that phone call, you wouldn't have gotten any of that information for somebody like this that works in that kind of occupation. And you're right. He just didn't stumble onto her. He was probably either following her from her work or he knew her and was set up on her house.
All right, let's take a listen to one more 911 call. This is from the man who discovers her body in the morning. Take a listen.
I'm walking my dog in the neighborhood. I actually live not too far from here off of Olive Street. And, Lord Jesus, I see a Caucasian woman face down near a mailbox. She is not moving. Looks like she has on black pants, some white checkered tennis shoes, white tube socks, and what appears to be like a gray tank top.
Okay.
And
Are you with the patient now?
I'm near her. I have not touched her.
Okay. And how old is she?
I don't know. She might be like a teenager or early 20s. I can't. Her face is obscured by like weeds, and that's what makes me think she's deceased.
Okay. Is she awake?
No, not awake at all. I think
Is she breathing?
I have not gotten that close to know.
Okay. Atlanta, I'm 924. Can we go ahead and start fire and PD?
For nature unknown?
Yes.
Okay, I'm 7906.
Okay. Sir, okay, hold for 1 second.
She does not appear to be breathing, though. I do not see any chest going up and down or even the back.
Okay. Did you ever hear her talk or cry?
I did not.
Okay. Hold for 1 second.
Oh, Jesus.
Hold for 1 second, sir.
Okay.
And can you direct the emergency crew to her?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sending the paramedics to help you now. Stay on the line and I'll tell you exactly what to do
dead.
next.
Oh, my gosh. I see blood around her upper body and arms.
Okay, sir. Reassure her. Okay. Hold for 1 second. Is she breathing, sir?
No. Not that I can tell.
Hold for 1 second.
Lord, this is somebody's baby.
Okay, and please tell me, why does she look dead?
She is face down. Her face, her nostrils and mouth are directly into the ground.
Okay.
I don't believe she'll be able to receive oxygen.
Okay.
There appears to be dried blood around her upper back, near her neck, and a side of her arm.
Okay.
Her arms are like underneath her body. Excuse me?
Do you think she is beyond any help?
I do.
And he was correct. Mike King, this is difficult, right? The man's just going for a walk, I think, with his dog, and he comes across a dead body, and he's got to make this call. I could see how when you come across that situation, obviously it's nothing you ever expect. You don't know what to do, what not to do. Obviously, you call 911, but beyond that, it's tough, right? I mean, you can hear the compassion in his voice, and I think he's looking, and it's extremely obvious to him that she's just not alive.
Yeah, I mean, that's a horrible thing even to hear the description that he's giving, and that poor man will now remember that the rest of his life. In this kind of case, I mean, what we need to do is we need to kind of go backwards in time from this point that we're at, which could be a point where she may have tried to escape from the vehicle and then something happened, or it's a disposal site where she was left. But as we kind of backtrack, we actually have a couple of different crime scenes that become really important in this thing. That the initial contact site could be that bar, or it could be the gas station next to the bar. Again, it's so important to understand this security uniform and how that may tie the individuals together. But somehow these two individuals come together in space and time. And the victim in this case, Mariam, may have never even known that they came together in space and time. And that will all come out. But then we have this 14 or 15 minute drive to her home or to her boyfriend's home that, again, someone's either following her or just happen chance comes across her at the residence, which seems less likely. And then a very short drive to this place in which she's found. But the home becomes a crime scene. That space in the field could very well be a crime scene and a disposal site. But law enforcement now has different crime scenes and different events that will help them as they piece all this together to understand more about the victim and about who the victim is and why they became a victim. And then, of course, who the suspects in this case, or we know one suspect in particular, may tie into all of this.
You know, Bobby, doing the job that I do here every night, which is covering, unfortunately, you know, it's what I do, right? These stories happen. We cover them. Personally, if I came across a situation like this, I think I would not even know what to do, because on the one hand, I'm thinking this person's not alive. This could be a crime scene. I don't want to disturb anything, but does she need help? What do you do? All those things would be racing through my mind. It's difficult. And for investigators trying to piece together what happened, a lot of times you come upon a scene and things have changed from the time of the crime to when you get to see them.
Yeah, and this was another remarkable 911 call in this case. It's the second one we've heard today, where the person is calm. You can tell they're under trauma, they're under pressure. They've just witnessed something traumatic, but they stay calm. They give a description. He's describing the body. He's describing very in detail why he thinks she's dead. I mean, he did a remarkable job of providing information to the 911 operator. Quite frankly, many 911 calls do not go this way. And he stayed calm. He explained to the operator why he saw dried blood. Her face was straight down into the dirt. You know, so he was very coherent. He imparted all the information that he needed to. He did the right thing. He stayed back from it because he realized, I think, early on, I don't think he wanted to say it, but he realized she was probably dead. And so he didn't disturb the scene. He stayed back. He probably towed himself over there and looked over a little bit when the 911 operator was asking him if she was still breathing, but he kind of knew. You could tell that he kind of knew she was dead, and I think he did a tremendous job with this call. For those of us who used to see dead bodies kind of often, it's one thing, but for some people, it's the only time they've ever seen a dead body, and so it's very traumatic, and it will stay with them. But to remain that calm and provide the exact information that 911 operator needed, I think is remarkable.
Yeah, I think your assessment is spot on for both of those calls. I want to finish this segment tonight and read a statement from the bar where she worked. They posted this on Instagram. Our hearts are truly broken at the loss of a dear friend and family member. Mariam brought light to every single person she came into contact with and will forever be missed. We will be closed this weekend to grieve and savor our last moments with her. Please be safe, y'all. We'll be right back.